Good morning, 8th graders. In the last lesson, you compared a map showing how much sunlight the parts of the world get with a map showing global skin cancer rates. You probably noticed that the places with the highest skin cancer rates, such as Australia, did not necessarily have the most sun exposure. As I look at this map, I notice that both South America and Australia appear to get the same amount of sun exposure. But when I look at the skin cancer map, it's clear that Australia has a considerably higher rate of skin cancer than Brazil does. And so that leads us to the question that we're investigating today. How can the same amount of sunlight cause different rates of skin cancer? And in order to do this, we're going to test out a couple different kinds of light. And so in order to do that, I've brought some tools with me, and we're going to talk about two different kinds of light. One is ultraviolet light, which is only one part of the visible light spectrum, and the other is incandescent light, which is what you're used to seeing. It's emitting light as a result of being heated, and this light tends to look white. So for incandescent, we've got our old friend, the flashlight here. And for ultraviolet, I got one of these little keychain guys here that you see sometimes. And then we've got some things we're going to test them on. And so I've got some glow-in-the-dark stars here, right? That should tell us whether the different kind of light is giving us a different result. I've got some of liquid crystal papers, squares that I had in the last video. And then I've got some of these glow-in-the-dark beads here. I think they're glow-in-the-dark beads. I've never seen much like it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a pipe cleaner here. And I'm going to take this pipe cleaner. I'm going to cut it right in half like this. And I'm going to take about 4 of these beads here. I'm just going to string them onto here. And there we go, just like that. So I'm going to set up 2 different tests, right? I'm going to have the incandescent light. It's kind of a big, funny word, incandescent light. And then over here, I'll have the ultraviolet light. And so we've got our liquid crystal paper you can see here, and our liquid crystal paper you can see here. We've got a couple glow-in-the-dark stars. And then here's, let's do something like that. Here's our glow-in-the-dark beads on there. And we'll go ahead and string one more of these. Somewhere I've lost a bead, so I guess we'll just have 3 on this one instead of 4. That'll be fine. All right, we're going to go, whoop. The twist didn't work too well there. There we go. We're going to put that right there. All right, now for this to work properly, you can't use a lot of, you have to be close with your light sources. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these lights and we're going to shine them on something you've seen before, this paper right here. And so we're going to get this in. Helps if you have a light that works. There we go. We're going to bring this right down close to the paper like this. And we'll do the same with our ultraviolet light here. We're going to keep them real close to the paper. And you might recall the last time you saw this paper, when you had light real close to it, it would absorb the light. You can just see it fading away there. We're going to go ahead and get right up on top of it, see if we can make it more dramatic. But with the UV, when we take that away, you see no change. However, with the incandescent, you can see a change. Okay, well, that was interesting. That tells us that the same amount of light, right? Because each of these are giving the same exposure. We're giving the same amount of light for the same amount of time, and yet there are clearly different effects going on here. All right, so now these little glow-in-the-dark beads, I haven't used these before, but these look kind of fun. So we're going to go ahead and give them some light and see what happens here. So I think what we're seeing is that this spectrum of light that includes white light and includes ultraviolet light, perhaps each of these kinds of light emits something different. Look at that. That one changed colors completely. Now this one looks like it may have started to change very slowly, but these beads over on this side clearly have had a different effect from the UV light than they have from the incandescent light. Yeah, neat. That one's starting to turn green. All right, so the last thing then that we're going to look at here is going to be the star here. And in order to do the star, I think I'm going to darken the room a little bit. Might even be able to get this off. All right, and so we're going to take our UV light here on this one and our traditional light on this one, our incandescent light, and we will give them both the same amount of exposure time. What do you think's going to happen? Make a prediction. Which one's going to light up? Are either of them going to light up? Ready? Here we go. Little bit of glow out of both of them, but you can see that UV light seems to have charged that one more than the other. All right, I'm going to stop talking and let you go ahead and get your stuff done for the rest of the week. You have a fantastic break, and I will see you on Tuesday, I believe the 14th. Awesome.